What is going on, everybody? Your favorite failed content creator is back, and today we are going to talk about this hidden gem of RPG I came across. Now, I actually first heard of it back during, Swords of Legends Online's beta, and a buddy of mine's live stream on Twitch. Someone mentioned in his chat that this game exists, so I wanted to. So I watched some videos on it, and it looked interesting. So here we are, me playing this game. I had no idea it even existed, and I must say, whoever is in the marketing team for this game, what the hell, bro? I wanted to know this game exists. Y'all got to do better on y'all West Coast, like your Western side of the world marketing, because I didn't even know this game exists, and I should have, because this game is freaking good. Hold on, let's rewind a bit before I get ahead of myself and overindulge on the experience of this game and things like that. Before I get deep diving into all how good the game is, let's start from the top on what this game even is to begin with. So this game is Gujian 3, which originally released back in 2018. Yes, it's 2021, and this masterpiece is finally getting some attention by me at least, and hopefully some of you as well when you see this video. Get this game a try. As of July 2020, it did sell over 1.3 million copies. Let's get the number higher. There was a report back in the day that back in 2014, one of the previous Gujian titles would get an Xbox port. Not sure what happened with that. Doesn't matter. We're here in 2021. Let's try to make this game popular enough so they reconsider that and get this game on consoles. Because to be honest with you, this game kind of probably should be played on consoles anyway. Is it worth it? I mean, its share review is 9 out of 10. Is Steam database scores is 85%, and its Open Critic is also a 9. So what is Gujian 3? Well, it's an action RPG where best I could say that makes sense for you guys here in the West is it's very comparable to Final Fantasy and The Witcher 3. It's inspired by China's most popular fiction genre, excuse my pronunciation, Xingxia, which is influenced by Chinese mythology, Taoism, Buddhism, Chinese martial arts, Chinese folklore, etc. This is a Chinese game with Chinese dialogue, but there is English subtitles and as well as some English dialogue as well to choose between. But I haven't used it, and from what I heard, the English translation in this game is pretty bad. So just cut on the subtitles, let the native language play out. I feel like games like this is better with the native language anyways. So just cut on the subtitles if you need it. Experience the game. It's a great experience. But before we get into my thoughts on this game, I just want to point out I love ancient Chinese history. Here in the West, the most popular ancient Chinese games we're familiar with it, is a story of the Three Kingdoms. It's what most Dynasty War games, follow. If you know names like, Guan Yu, Liu Bei, Lu Bu, Cao Cao, at least Dynasty War characters loosely based on the Three Kingdoms story. Now, this isn't a history video, so you aren't going to talk about, the real story of the Three Kingdoms or how accurate this game is. It's a video game. It's going to, go a little bit off the marker on, lore and actual history. But in general, most media follows the story or novel called Romance of the Three Kingdoms, more so than the actual story or history of the real Three Kingdoms. Anyways, we need more Chinese mythos, ancient China-based video games. We see so many Japanese anime games, JRPGs, Korean RPGs, with Western vibes, etc. I want more games like this in Swords Legends Online, as well as Dynasty Warrior games that are less Dynasty Warriors and more like a regular RPG experience. Let's get back to Gujian 3. Man, this game is incredible. Visually, this is one of those games where I often stop to look around. It's so pretty. Like, great job, art designers of this game. It's beautiful. I wish I recorded when I entered the city for the first time. I legit stopped and was like, wow. I just started looking around, doing like slow pans with the camera, with my mouse, just to get a good look of the city. It is gorgeous. And if you're one of those, if you're someone that loves artistically appealing video games, this game's for you. Its overall graphics are great. I'm playing on medium. Sorry, I have a 90 Ti. Leave me alone. But it looks great. The character models, the atmosphere, the landscape, the hair, the eyes, all of it. Everything about this game visually looks great. So what about the gameplay? Again, best I can compare is to like the action RPG versions of Final Fantasy, not the turn-based games, but the action RPG Final Fantasy games as well as Witcher 3 and Yakuza. To be honest with you, I do recommend using a controller though. I'm not using a controller. Reason why I recommend using it is mouse and keyboard controls are a bit complex in the sense that you're putting your hand in weird positions in like big combat situations. Example I'll give you is in a fight, block is left alt, but your abilities are on the numbers. You have your usual WASD as movement. Left shift is dodge, space is jump. Now That probably sounds pretty basic and common for you as a PC player, but when you're in a boss fight, that becomes very, very rough. The controller will make it easier on you, but it's playable with mouse and keyboard. Not saying it isn't. I mean, I'm using mouse and keyboard, so clearly it's doable. But for better experience when it comes to to playing the game and its combat, I recommend a controller. But outside of that, the combat is fluid, fun, and visually, which is something that people don't talk about enough in video games. The visuals of combat is nice. Combat visuals are important. I like when I see what I'm doing in a video game and it looks cool. I like eye candy combat. There's a reason why games like Black Desert is getting so massively popular. You look at their trailers, what are they showing you? They're showing these visually stunning combat sequences. This game has visually stunning combat sequences. What about the story? What's going on? Well, the story is mostly focused on the character Bailu, whom is being thrusted into ruling the Shadow Chasers. There's a century long conflict between demigods and demonic forces. Bailu really doesn't want anything to do with it, and even denies being Fae, whom are these powerful beings, these people who are above mortals, these demigods basically. Shadow Chasers, who are these demigods, the powerful celestials, that's the race that he denies being from. At the time of this video, I haven't completed the entire game and won't say too much to spoil it, but the story thus far for me has been very immersive. I'm engaged in this game's cutscenes. The story flows in a way that makes you care about it. Very good pacing. It's a great story experience again, and comparable to that, the likes of Witcher 3 and Final Fantasy 15. Actually, come to think of it, Bailu and Noctis have a lot of things in common, originally not wanting to or caring for the throne that they've been thrusted upon. It's easy to get lost within this game's story, in this world. It's captivating. And as I said earlier in this video, it shines a light on the lack of video games that represent the cultural heritage of Chinese history, especially in RPG format. Source Legends is an MMO, so the story can easily be forgotten and paid attention to. Dynasty Warriors, as classic as it is as a game franchise, doesn't appeal to most gamers, and large-scale battling is focused over actual single-player stories experience and storytelling. I really hope Chinese developers decide to release more games like this, in the West. Hopefully, honestly, I'm more likely to buy games like this over, say, anime-inspired video games that people love. I love Chinese, history. I also love Japanese history, but since we see so many Japanese-inspired games, it's kind of just diluted for an experience, whereas the Chinese, experience is just, we haven't even scratched the surface of it. Xinzia, Remnants of the Three Kingdoms inspired games are so rare in the West outside of, what I've mentioned before, and even those have small followings. Something like Gujian should be, as big in the US as Final Fantasy, in my opinion. That's how good it is and how great it can be as a franchise. This game is one of my favorite games on PC right now. I fucking love it. If you're into story-driven RPGs like Final Fantasy, Witcher 3, Yakuza, etc., play this game. If you're into Chinese history, play this game. You won't regret it. It's not a full-price game. At the time of this video, it's on sale on Steam. All that said, I've been Texture Archangel, the real underscore talent of YouTube and Twitch. When I should play games on Xbox Series X live, I stream Monday through Thursday on Twitch. Link in the description box below. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day. Stay safe. Be kind to one another. Archangel out.
你不是玄哥，长得很像。你是他的兄弟。
我是我，你又是谁？
我叫云无月，玄哥没有告诉过你吗？倘若有谁手持圣珠进入了白梦泽，我便要依照当初和他的约定，跟在对方身边一段时日。
这话怎么说？
玄哥让我帮持对方，我见你妖力微弱，想必是得保护你吧？
哼，原来如此，他可真有意思。我来这里只是想看看，这家伙到底在搞什么鬼，不是想找个尾巴。帮助也好，保护也罢，都别忙活了。我北洛要做什么，但凭自己，何必旁人多事？
我已经应允了玄哥。
你们之间的约定，关我什么事？
确实，我和玄哥的约定 与你无关。你若是不喜欢看见我，便当我不存在。
您这是？
轩哥出事了。
什么？
怎么回事？轩哥的身体到底……
是王妃。王妃，皇上，您……
这是北洛，玄哥的弟弟，辟邪族的新王。
北洛大人吗？您和玄哥大人长得好像。可是，隔壁的小袁和小珍也是兄弟，他们就不这么像。
不一样的，玄哥和北洛是孪生兄弟。
哦，我们在那个石龛前放了花，是给玄哥大人的。
好孩子，
以后北洛大人也会带着我们一起战斗吗？把进犯光明野的那些魔统统打倒。
那样的孩子也要上战场吗？
现在还不会，至少还有30年。辟邪64载成年，在列仪中证明自己的实力后，便可投身战斗。
以辟邪之强，天底下哪里不能生存？为什么要待在这个地方？
虽然不是所有的魔都觊觎巨型的空间通道，但魔域实在太广大了，哪怕只有1/1000的魔族经由此处进入天地人3界，也会引发清浊失衡、空间紊乱，后果不可预估。如神族这样的强者，自然有应对之法，但更多的妖族、兽族、人族，恐怕要遭遇大难。这些，玄哥应当多少与你提过。数千年前，辟邪选择在此建城，立志看守通路，维系此间平衡。既然定下了目标，便会世世代代为此坚守。辟邪很强，但在魔域也有数不尽的强大的敌人。苍天之下，黄土之上，凡我妖族，死生莫能幸免。生于此间，必定要战。